Hi there guys, today is your second lesson in coding Scratch. So, today's aim is to further develop your skills in Scratch coding. Your objectives are that you must create a band with at least 3 different instruments. Second objective is that all instruments must make a sound and move when clicked on. Your third objective is that you could actually time, if you can, all instruments so that they go to a beat. Objective 3, however, is a difficult task and will only be classed as an extension. To begin, I want you to click on the Scratch link, log in, and then we'll get started. After you've clicked on the Scratch link and logged in, I want you to go to the Ideas tab again, and then I want you to look for the Make Music tab. Now, I had a lot of fun doing this one. I want you to click on the Make Music tab, and what you get is you can try the tutorial. I will supply the coding cards with the task. So, once you're in, I want you to watch the video, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a version of the program I've created so that you can get some ideas. Just remember that after you watch the video, you can click the on arrow to get more hints and tips about how you want your band to look. And you can even do it on cats if you want, but that's entirely up to you. Before you get started, just remember that to delete sprites already in the animation pane, you need to select that sprite and you need to delete it. There is also a very handy little tip for you, which I noticed myself the other day, is the backpack, which is right at the bottom of the screen and you can hardly see it if you're not looking for it. If you click on the backpack, you will notice that it opens up a space, and you can already see I've got 2 codes in there. Now, as backpack suggests, your backpack goes everywhere with you. So whichever code you open up, you will always have the same code that you have previously dragged to the backpack. So for example, if I made a sprite, so let's choose a sprite, and let's choose a musical instrument because this is what this task is about, and I'm going to get my drum kit because I love my drums. Now then, what I can do now is go to Events, and then when this sprite is clicked, I can play a sound, and I am going to play the sound until done. So I am going to go for high tom, low tom, and I might repeat this several times. So I might go and drag that code into a repeat box and repeat it 4 times. So, there we go. Now if I like this bit of code and I want to use it elsewhere, I can simply drag that into the backpack and it will duplicate it, but it won't remove it from my coding pane. So now when I close the backpack and open up another program I am working on, that will be in the backpack at all times. And that's how that works. So there's one idea. I'm going to take a few more minutes to create my program. So the next shot you'll see is my completed program. And this will give you some ideas of how to progress. Okay guys, so try and stick with me through this, because I've done a few things and I've got 5 different sprites. What I've tried to do is keep it as simple as possible, but being a drummer I know things like 4-beat and what have you. So if you notice, I'm currently on the drum kit, which is the main sprite during this whole band that I've created. And what I've done, I've got that when I click the sprite, I've got 4 different things happening. And I'll explain these one by one. So what I've got on the first one is that repeated 4 times, I have an 8-beat on the drums. So the cymbal will sound 8 times with a 0.3 seconds gap. Now you don't have to do this, you can do it much simpler, but sometimes it's good to space out the beats because it sounds really good. Then what I've tried to do is bring in a simple snare and bass beat, although you have to check the drum beats out because when you get the drop down menus there are different sounds, and I've recorded one for the hi-hat which doesn't actually exist. Okay, you'll see how it sounds shortly. So what I've done, there are some skip beats and there are some beats on every of the beats, and it's hard to get it timed right, so it's up to you if you want to go down this road of being difficult. But having said that, some of you said you're really good in it, so I wanted to show some skills. Now when you get to the end of the first beat here, it's going to broadcast drums done. So that means if there's anything else playing in a later sprite, they know when to stop. So this broadcasts a message and other sprites pick up on that message, but you must remember to code it in. There's the second beat. Now these are movement beats and I have timed this in with a 0.3 second gaps between each beat on the hi-hat, so the drum will shake. Okay, it'll turn 10 degrees to the right, 10 degrees to the left, 10 degrees to the left to make it go all the way, and then back again. Now the fourth thing I've got happening here, okay, is that when the sprite is clicked, it'll broadcast a message to say drums start. Now this allows other sprites to start when the drums start. Now looking at the sprite of the drum kit, you'll notice that the drum kit itself is by itself, and I've had to bring in the snares separately. Not the snares, the hi-hat and the cymbal. Okay, so I'm going to show you what happens when we click on the sprite. Now you'll notice a few other things happen, and I'll explain those on the next few sprites. Okay, here we go. See, it's going through the repeat, it's changing the direction of the drum kit, and I've got these cymbals here to go in other directions. Now it all stopped at the same time. Now obviously I'm not on this sprite, so you'll see what I've done in the later sprites. What I've also done, guys, is when this sprite receives drums done, which is at the end here, it'll stop all these other scripts and then it'll point the drums back in the correct direction I want them to, which is important if you're a little bit of a completist or completionist. So here is the first hi-hat. Now you'll see it's got the same code, but what I've done is that when I started I pointed in the direction 80 because I want it to be in this angle. Okay, I've also given it another bit of code here, alright, which will say when drums done it'll stop and it'll point it back in the direction I wanted it to start at. Notice this one says on the message as well, drums start. Okay, so when the drums start from the other previous sprite, the cymbal will start moving. And the same goes for this one, but with a slightly different direction. As you can see here, it's 100 degrees. Okay, it has the same code there. And you know, if you struggle with the timing, don't worry about it, guys. Just get them to make simple sounds and just get them to do simple movements. But it is quite fun trying to figure it out. So, that well and done, we'll move on to the trumpet. And on the trumpet I have a costume change. Okay, so I'll show you what's going to happen here. First of all, it's when the drums start again. And I've got start sound C, so you can pick the notes. So you can hear there that I've got sound C. So when I play just click on the sprite by itself. Okay, and this timing is really difficult to work out, but you can do it whichever way you like. Okay, it's a bit of fun, and you would just go into try and make a band, and you don't have to try and make it work as coherently as I do. So again, that's the drum start, that's the sound, but I've also got the same code but for when the sprite is clicked, so you can actually click on it and make the sound separately to the drums. Okay, and also I've done the same here, that when the sprite is clicked I've got all the movements here switching costumes. So if you look at the the trumpet costumes, I have two costumes. One looks like that, one looks like that. Okay, so it just gives a little bit more depth to your programming and the visual aspect of it. So you can see that there are the same movements there. The changing size, okay, I can get this to repeat. Now if you increase this number here in the change size box for the repeat, your trumpet will end up massive, but you can play around with this, and if you just don't like it you can delete sprite and start again. Okay, it's something to just play around with. It should take you about 35 minutes to get at least a couple of instruments working, but the drums by far are the most complicated in mine, but they are always going to be the centerpiece of any band I create. Now with the guitar, you can see I've done nothing, but what I probably would start with is I'd go to my events, and I would look for when I receive, because I've already got that message at the beginning of here, this one. So I want to receive when drums start, and then I can start writing the code for what I want. So I may have a tilt movement, I may have a pulse movement, and it's up to you. And you know guys, even if you are stuck, right, you can always check out YouTube for some other videos about how to create, or you can go into the other creators tab and have a look for videos of other codes that other people have done, and check out how they make theirs work. If you're totally stuck guys, I have no problems with you copying the code that I have here and recording your own sounds, as this one does not exist. Okay, so I hope you have a bit of fun with that, and I'd love to see some videos, or if you can just try and share with me a link of your final code, that would be great. Videos are fine, photos are fine, just upload anything you want to me. It's something to be proud of to your hand inbox. And that will be the end of today's lesson. I hope you have fun with it guys. It doesn't have to be as tight as I've done here, you know, it's entirely up to you. See you soon guys.